exist a number of ETL tools in market. Let's find out why Talend is good. So why Talend? An open source solution and freely available for download. Go to talent.com and you can download and start working on it. So that is one thing. So makes big data integration easy, fast and affordable. So have a sandbox, you know how to use Talend and you're done with your big data jobs. Everything is customized. You have component for all your reading, writing, transforming options. Okay. GUI friendly, user friendly GUI allows users to define process and it's more business friendly. Okay, we have a business model section also in Talent where managers can put down some, and also we have a documentation section wherein we can upload documents for reference inside the tool itself. There are many user friendly features. Trust me, I'll show you all of them. So for so many reasons, best reason which I see is the learning curve. That is why most of them are migrating with this. Having existing resource pool, they can just put the resources in this training and they can be productive after the training. That is what they feel. Okay, and then it is true and also user friendly. Even after the training, if any new component is coming, it is very easy to learn. The standards are same. Once you learn DI, right, DI is different, big data is different. Okay, in DI we don't have big data components. In big data we have big data components. After learning DI, in one of the module, I will ask you to generate a big data job. Trust me, you yourself will tell me all the options how to do it and you will be done with doing a big data job. So that is what is happening from previous 5 to 6 batches which I have trained. So why Talend? Again, it has 80 plus connectors. I told you, name a component, name a file you want to connect, name a DB you want to connect. We have a component ready for you. Okay, it is a unified repository for storing and reusing. You do a reusable code. One best example I'll give in every batch is I have a code wherein for log analysis. Okay, there is something called reusability over here, so I can copy paste that part of code in every job, which is a standard. Okay, it works for all the job, so it can capture your logs in a very matured manner and it can put it to your files or DB, so that can be reused in any of the jobs. So that is why they're saying unified repository for storing and reusing, and does not require any coding until and unless it is not available in Talend. We'll have to code it. Until then, only drag and drop and configure. Again, you'll agree to this point once you start developing it. So we have learnt about Talend. Now let's see how Talend makes big data management much easier. So it is all like what you say, tied up, right? And all the settings and all the configurations are available in Talend. This is the major point. Okay, Talend job gets executed as a map reduce job in Hadoop and gets the big data works done in minute. Okay, and this map reduce I'm not writing, Talend is writing for me. That is a major thing. Okay, and Talend is a tool which is built upon Eclipse. So people who are having Java background and who are already used Eclipse will find it more easy to do debugging and analysis on this. Okay, it is very easy for you guys. But people who don't know, it's not a problem. We only look at the GUI and the components. Okay, with its Eclipse based graphical workspace, Talend Open Studio for big data enables the developer and data scientists to leverage the Hadoop loading and processing technologies like HBase, Pig without have to write Hadoop application code. So this is the major point which is minting money for Talend. So Hadoop applications seamlessly integrate with minutes using Talend. You just take an Hadoop input component, you read the data, write some transformations and write back it to your big data or RDBMS. It is very good capability with connecting to Hadoop and very fast. Okay, of course it depends on your Talend servers, all the stuff which you are going to set up. But in open source, we will be seeing only the how to do it. Capabilities can't be demonstrated. See, if I do it in RDBMS, it is so much seconds. If I'm doing in big data, it is so much. To a certain extent, we can surely see in open source. But whenever it goes to your organization level, working with really so much of big data, you will really see the change in that. Okay. So let's take you through the major advantages that the company will have after using the big data management feature for Talend. So what is that? Benefits, okay? If you take another tool and big data, and if you take Talend and the big data, what is the difference? So what is that benefits we are having? So wherever we are taking Talend, okay? So most of the enterprise, what happens is, so most of the enterprise struggle to integrate their data, which takes efforts and skills, okay? Data integration skills of Talend comes handy and it is complement the big data environment. So it is not much of a difficult to learn it, okay? That is what they say here. No programming makes big data area such a fun game, and you get to focus on much more demanding technologies and issues with big data rather than only focusing on MapReduce programming. So you save this time, you focus on how to make your job optimized, how to make it run in less time. You focus on that and don't focus on MapReducing. We'll take care. And then this is where these 2 points an enterprise will be very happy to welcome. They want the existing resource pool to learn. It is very easy to learn, and then handling MapReduce is not there. So you work on optimizing the job. So let's see the Talend products available for data integration and big data. So Talend free products. Okay, if you go to Talend website, so this is how your Talend homepage look like. Okay, so we have a download section over here. So this is how you download your Talend tool, whichever I'm showing now. Please pay attention. So under downloads, you have all their products listed. Okay, big data for integration, only data integration without big data products, cloud integration, data preparation. So all these are the different products. Okay, this is how here. If you just click on download free tool, so download big data. Okay, you can directly download this. Okay, so talend.com downloads, and you have to download Open Studio for big data. So this is how your Talend website looks like, and also the download section. So Open Studio integrates all the data with the data warehouse and applications, or synchronize the data between systems. Okay, so it's an open source product for you for data integration. So data integration for big data, drag and drop, configure pre-built components, generate native code, and deploy to Hadoop for simple EDW offloading and ingesting data into your data lake. So they are giving a kind of a solution for which you can look for this product. So what is your requirement for that? What is the product? So if you want to do it on Hadoop, you have to go for big data. If you are doing it on RDBMS with your integration need, you have to go for Talend Studio integration data. And there is a data preparation. Okay, data preparation make easy to clean useful data from almost anywhere into almost any business or cloud application, which reduces time involved in cleaning. So at the source itself, we stop the wrong data coming in. That is what is data preparation. So you can give it to your users and say, for example, what is the use case for this is every month you receive data from your customer and same set of data goes on reject. Okay, and then you again tell him and they say okay, correct it. So rather than that, you can use data preparation, and when client is entering wrong value to that column, then and there itself it will not allow. It will tell for this particular data set, this data is not valid, please enter another data. So it will not allow the user itself to enter that data, and using that, when your same customer is giving you the next month file, it will pass with all the records. So that is how you can stop data problems entering your system. So this is also now growing. It's a new tool from Talend. It is growing now. Same thing, we have a Open Studio for data quality. So that is access data quality, avoid poorly controlled data and can negatively impact customer relationship, all those stuff, which I gave you a simple example of data integration. And when you take a report, it will not be proper. So enterprise service bus allows serviceable enable applications and legacy systems, SOA architectures. So for that architectures, ESB is the best suited one. And the master data management, number one tool now in the market for MDM. It is growing very drastically, helps in enriching an existing application and processes into your modern data-driven applications using fully functional Talend MDM format. Okay, there are a lot of algorithms involved here for fuzzy logics, for your comparisons of customer related data or master data management related thing. You can take decisions on that. There is concepts of stewards where you can correct the data, you can create the golden record, you can avoid data, wrong data coming in. It has kind of learning mechanism. All those stuffs are there in MDM. A very good tool now. So coming to Talend now. So Talend Open Studio DI, okay, is a powerful tool which dramatically improves the efficiency of data integration, job design through an easy to use graphical development environment. I told you it is defined using psychological techniques. So it is very easy for anybody to learn. Even freshers can pick up very easily. Okay. I would rather say freshers can pick up very easy than someone who knows already one ETL tool, because you have to unlearn something and learn new. So TOS is distributed under Apache license V2 and was launched in October 2006. So Talend itself is a company and Talend is a product as well. Okay. So it operates as a code generator. What does it do? Whenever you drag and drop any component in the Talend, right, code related to that component will sit in background. And whenever you configure, the values for that code will go as parameters. Okay, I'll show you that code also, how it is getting generated. So it operates as a code generator, producing data transformation script underlying programs in Java. Okay, this is one thing, but we don't have to worry about it if you don't know Java because we are not coding it. We are only configuring it. Okay, user design individual jobs. Okay, and from the set off, we already discussed. There are a lot of components, whichever you name, we have it. And for transformation, we have all good facility of transformation things. Okay, there are a couple of transformation components which can fit in for any use case. Okay, the jobs created can be executed from within the studios or as standalone script. One more major feature of Talend. Okay, you as a developer, you develop a Talend job and you have to deliver it to client. Okay, so your client has to just have Java installed. No need to install Talend. It can be given as an executable for him. He'll just double click on that executable and the job how it was executing in your Talend Studio, it will be executed in the same way, provided few graphical features like prompting or other things that would not work. But your DI job, whatever you are trying to do, give a use case solution that would exactly work in his system also. That is also one of the greatest feature. Create it once, use it in any platform. It is a Java based, right? You generate your job in Windows environment and given executable in Linux environment also it's possible. It generates an sh file also, it generates an bat file also, and even for Mac also it supports. So all the OS, same job wherever you are generating, it's not a problem. That is also one more great feature of Talend. Now let's look into the GUI of TOS. Okay, so I told you installing Talend is very difficult, right? I'll show you the steps. When you download Talend, it will be like this. Okay, it will be a zip file like this. So first difficult step is to unzip it. Okay, you'll get a folder like this. And second difficult step is to double click on this and your installation is done and your tool is launching. So it is very complex, so be very careful. Okay, only two steps. No need to go on any normal installation step like next, do that repository, this repository, nothing. Download, unzip, use it. That's all. No different steps for OpenStream. Okay, so when you download and unzip, this is what you'll get. You'll get all the executables. Like for Mac OS is there, for Solaris it is there, for license it is there, Linux it is there, and for Windows we have 32 and 64-bit. Okay, since my system is 64-bit, I'm double clicking on this 64-bit executable. Okay, and I'm using 6.2. You can download 6.4, not a problem. So once Talend is launched, the first thing you'll be seeing is your project screen. Okay, so what are these connections? Okay, so the first option you'll be seeing is local. Okay, why this is local is I told you Talend comes with two versions, one open source, one license version. Okay, for open source it is always local. That is why we are working on local, right? We are not connecting to any repository of enterprise version of Talend. So if it was an enterprise version, there would be something called as remote over here. Another option will be there, which is called remote, where if you are going to remote, you'll be connecting to the Talend server and you'll be working on server. Okay. Since it is open source, it will be local. And what is this managed connection? Related to this only. Okay. So if your connection is local, you'll choose local. If you have a remote, you'll have other options over here. Okay. So for local, there is something called Workspace. Okay. You have to remember each project. Okay. Highest level in Talend is project. So in project, all the project related thing will be in Workspace. Okay. Where is this Workspace? I've given this path. It will be inside your executable. You can place it anywhere you want. But the standard way is inside that executable only I'll be having a workspace folder. So inside this workspace, all my project related things, files, folder, class files, Java files, whatever it is, it will be available here. Okay. So that is my workspace. So each project points to one workspace. If you remove this workspace or if you change this workspace, then it will not be that project. So workspace is mapping to project. First point, make it very clear. Each workspace point to one project. Okay, if you change workspace, it will not point to that project. So make sure whatever connections you are doing here, so local, my one connection, first project, I am putting it in this workspace. If you want to delete existing project, you can delete from here. I can check if I want any projects to be deleted, I can delete it. Okay, right now don't want. So I'll say okay. So this connection for open source means nothing, okay, apart from creating the workspace. So by default, it will be workspace. You can change it to anywhere you want. And there are four options here. I can either select these projects which I've already worked on. If I want to create a new project, I'll click here. I will tell batch 16. So this batch, I'll just say create. Okay. Before I press create, you have to observe here, there is no folder for each action in your tool. you should understand what is happening in background. So now you don't see any batch 16 December. There is a existing folder for this project. When I create it, a folder will be created with all the settings related for projects. Okay. Now I click on, okay, before I click on create, let me tell you about these two things. Okay. Suppose there is a demo project for Talend. Somebody would have given you the source for the code. Okay? If you want to import that code, you can click on import project and it will give you a path to import. I can select that path, big data demos or integration demos. Okay. If I click on this and tell finish, all those demo jobs will come. Okay. For you people, if you want to see the demo thing, you can come here, open Talend, second option, import to demo project. So click on import demo project and select any one of this and that project get imported. Okay. That is this option. This is demo thing. Okay. If somebody has in your organization in module 1, somebody is working. So today is not there. So you have to work on module 1. So he gives you the module 1 code. So if you want to import that, then you have to come here, import an existing project. Then tell select and you can give the project name and tell where it is available. Then it would import that project. Okay, all these things we'll be seeing in detail. But first, let's come to create project and create our own project first. Okay, so no folder like this. Now I'll tell create. So now if you see, I have a folder created here with today's timestamp 9:47. So if I go inside this, I have all the basic setting related for that project. Okay, that these are all project files. Okay, and in settings we'll have some whichever needed, library paths, all those stuff will be available. Okay, so whenever you create a project, if somebody asks you what happens, creates a master folder inside my workspace. And whatever I do, how many ever jobs I create, everything will be available in this path. Okay, and then you do all your job, 5 jobs you have developed, copy this folder and give it to your friend. He can import it in your existing project option. Okay, that is how it is designed. Very simple, very transparent. Okay, so after I did it, my batch was created. And also observe, now it has only 3 folders, right? Let me go inside this. So I'm selecting this project and I'm telling finish. Now you see, after I started the whenever I'm getting inside it, okay, it's when created it was only settings and project folders. Okay, that is all basic setting of a project. But when I start the project, immediately if I open the job, I should have all the components. I should have all the component images. I should have everything related to it, right? All those things are copied here. It can be whatever, you will not understand these things right now. So whatever is needed for a project, that all the code base, everything comes and sits over here. Okay, your routines. So I'll show you these things. Okay. Just imagine why it is there. I'll explain. So this is how your GUI looks like. So this is how your Talend GUI looks. It is a welcome page. It is welcome you all for the first job. So it will be having Talend news over here. It will be having latest jobs, create jobs. I'll just tell start now. So this is how your Talend GUI looks. Okay, everything is disabled until and unless I create a job. I'll show you. Okay, and to make you understand why this folders have been created. If you see here, I have predefined functions over here in this folder where these are available. Inside repository, there's something called repository. I'll explain you this. So inside that, there is something called code and there is something called routines. There is something called system defined routines. So if you see here, data operation, mathematical. So to make this available in your project, these folders and code will come and sit in your project. So these things are very important. We cannot only go to GUI and show you how it is. I will have to also teach you how it is happening, what is the reference, from where it is coming. Okay, now let me explain you all of these things. Okay, there is something called as repository. Okay, repository lists all the project items such as jobs, Java programs, services, codes, and project documentation. I'll tell you in detail. Workspace equal to repository? Yeah, it is equal to, but now start looking at workspace. Okay, repository, yes, I don't know whether you actually pointed to the repository keyword or repository you are mentioning about Informatica. Okay, yes, it is a repository. Workspace is a repository of all your projects, right? So in Workspace, I'll have different projects, but I need to get into one of the folder so that I go into that particular project. Okay? Otherwise, keep only one project, have folders for your jobs. If at all you are finding difficulty in switching the projects, okay? I'll show you all those stuff. The first thing which you see is business models. Next, job designs, context, code, SQL templates, metadata, documentation, and recycle bin. These are all categorized under repository. what is this business models? So business model is only for your management level. Okay, you can create ER diagram kind of thing. What I usually teach everyone is, since we are all developers, we map in more for ER diagram. So it is just like a paint for me, okay, which is integrated in Talend. What will happen is right click on it, create a business model and tell business model for job 1. So one job you are designing in ETL, your manager needs to know what does that job do on a high level. So what you'll do, you'll create a business model for it. So how does your business model look like is, you can have these things, just like paint. Okay. So you have, I'm getting an input. So you can double click on it. You can write in source from XYZ company. Okay. So you can drag and drop it here, and then you do a kind of action or decision. So you tell I'm taking this one directional arrow, and from this to this I'm mapping it. So you say I'm taking the data from XYZ company and I'm deciding what is there on this. What is there? I mean, check for duplicates, and then you put it to your database. So you write here, it is your DB over here. So if your job is simply taking the source, and it is, sometimes it happens in open source, bear with me, there are some options which will be, when you save and open, it will be fine. So if you're just reading from a source and checking for duplicates and you're doing it target, okay, whatever you're doing in job, you can just create a paint kind of thing to your manager so that he can look, okay, job 1 is doing this action, job 2 is doing this action. That's the only use of business models. Okay, you can use available shapes over here and use relationships over here and create relationship diagrams over here. ER diagrams you can create it. Okay, that is only one thing which is not much used by developers, but when you want to present it to customer or to your management, you can use this. Okay, this is business models, not much used. Okay, and this is job designs, wherein you will have to create a job. Okay, right now all my other windows are grayed out. Okay, once I create a job, then everything will be enabled. Okay, before I create a job, let me make a right hierarchy of it. So what I'll do, I'll right click on job designs and I'll tell create folder, and I'll tell it is module 1, whatever we are doing now. So module 1 will be a folder inside job designs. Under this module, I'll create a job. So job, we need to give all these options. Okay, I'll tell you what are those. So name, as per your coding standard, you can maintain it. Okay, but my suggestion is, since we are in training, we need to have sequence of jobs. So what I'll do, it should not start with a number. So it will start with a character called J, which represents job, and I'll give sequence so that it will be sorted. I mean, I can see the jobs in order like how I'm developing them. So even you will be creating in the same way so that you're not confused. Okay, job underscore 1 and then tell hello world. So what is the purpose of this job? To use simple component to say hello world. If you want to give more description about the job, you can give it. Right now I'll have the same thing. And author, whatever we had given in the first place when we created the project, right? When I went into the remote and whatever section where I showed you the workspace, right? All those, whatever I have given the email ID over there will come here. Okay, I'll show you that where that email ID is there. And then if I'm working in license, these are all grayed out. Okay, these are all, most of them are license version features. So if somebody else in license version, we can work on repositories, right? In repository, I have opened one job, means obviously others cannot change it. So in that case, if I'm opening that job, a locker will be shown here. Locked by whom? That will be visible here. For open source, we don't have this feature. Version, we have it in open source. So right now I'm doing 0.1 version. If I want to increment a small change, I have to click on small m. If I'm doing a major change, that is 1.0, then I'll have to click on major one. Okay, to maintain versions. So this version is not SVN, it is just to maintain the job versions. Okay, so now I can tell from 0.1, let me make it 1.2. So I clicked capital M once, it became 1.0, and I'll click small m twice, it will become 1.2. So this version is 1.2 version. Okay, and status also doesn't make sense in open source. It can be status can be development, QA, or release, or something like that. So we have development, testing, production. So it makes sense in your license version where The status of jobs are displayed in your Talend Admin Center. But if you want to maintain it, you can maintain it. Okay. And the path of this is module 1, the folder path of this. If you want to move the job, you can move the job using the select option. You can move it to wherever you want. When you have the default, when you create more folders, you'll get the folders over here. Okay. So these are the options which are, only thing is the name is mandatory. All of them else are optional. Okay. But these are required but not mandatory. It will give you a warning only. Okay. So I'll tell finish, then all my other windows will get activated. So now you can see I have my palette, all my windows are activated, and you can see here under job design, under module 1, under hello world, my workspace is open. Okay. Before we start doing something here, I'll tell you about all other features in a brief manner and I'll continue. Okay. So this is where you create your job. Not only create your job, there are many other things you can do it here, such as you can change the properties of the file. That means now I have named it and I also versioned it. Okay. You have to close the job whenever you want to change the properties of the job. Okay. Otherwise it will not allow you to change the properties. If I tell edit properties, I can change the name, whatever I want to do here, I can change it. Okay. And if I want to do any other action listed here, you will be introduced to all of these options as and when we proceed. Okay. So if you want to export this job, you want to build this job, run this job, whatever available options are here, we can do it under job designs. Okay. Majorly job designs is to create the job and to use the options associated with the job. This is all about your job designs. So what are this context? Context is equal to variables in general world. Okay. There will be a places where we have to have local variables, we need to have global variables, we need to have repository variables so that it is used in many number of jobs. Say suppose I have a variable which is carrying the IP of my DB. Okay. So which is development DB now. Tomorrow the DB IP changed. So if I have 10 jobs which is referring to my DB IP variable, then I'll have to go and change in 10 places, which is not feasible, right? So we can store that variable in repository. We can change it only in the repository and it will automatically reflect in all the 10 jobs. Okay. That is a big picture about context. Context is all about your variables. Okay. Keep that in mind. What is this code? Code has two sections. Okay. Your routines and your pick, whatever it is, each thing we can have. So in routines, we have something called system defined, which I already showed you. There are some predefined things. Okay. You know, right? All APIs. So Java APIs, for if you want to do a substring, we have a substring function. If you want to do a conversion, we have a conversion function. So all these system defined functions are available readily for us. So I can use this in my job. I'll tell how to use that. Okay. This is to use it. And if you have any pick scripts, we can also include the pick scripts over here. So all the codes apart from the component, okay, these are all external codes. I can use those codes as a function in my job. Okay. There was one use case wherein get the currency in 3 letters, that is INR, USD. So I'll have to fetch the currency symbol for it. So I have a function which can do that. A standard function is available to do that. So in my ETL, I will get 3-letter currency. So I'll pass that 3-letter currency to a function and the function will return me the symbol. That symbol I'll use it in my ETL. So that is one example where routines can help you. So any such use cases, we can create a routine. Even we can create it, which will come under user defined. When I create it, it will be a kind of user return. Okay. If I tell create routine, so routine test and finish. So it will not go under system. It will be my user defined routine. Okay. And I can code anything in Java. Right now, no need to do it. It will be taken in one of the modules. So the usage of code is to store those codes. Okay. Which can be called in my ETL job. So that is all about my code. What is this SQL template? Same thing, which is there for Java for code. It is there for SQL. So I have my generic SQL already. So this is user defined folder. Nothing is there. In system, I already have aggregate, commit, drop source table, everything is available. So I'll be using these in the components. Okay. I'll show you how. It is very simple. So these codes have been referred. Okay. For all the databases, whichever are there, I'll not be coding it. It will be available here. I'll be using them. Okay. So that is about your SQL templates. The major part of Talend is metadata. Okay. Where you store the structure and reuse it. Okay. Kind of again repository metadata. So I have metadata for everything you name. Any DB, any file, LDAP, Salesforce, MDM, generic schema you want to do it, whatever it is. You will be creating most of this in your modules. Okay. So it will keep the structure of it so I can reuse it. Okay, metadata is all about details about your structure. Documentation can be of two types. Okay, one documentation is I can directly attach a document over here. I can tell create a folder, requirement documents for module 1. So if I tell this, and then I can add documentation. So I can tell which document to add. Recently I downloaded one. So I can take any of the PDF. So JDK installation guide, something like that. So I can tell purposes, installation steps. It can be your change document, okay? And I'll tell finish. Our developer can, whenever he is developing the job, if he want to have a look at requirement document, he can just have a look inside the tool itself, okay? So he can open the documents inside the tool itself so that he can see the requirement and he can code it, okay? So I can just come here and I can see the requirements and I can do the coding. So it will be visible in this section. So this is how one way of doing this is one way of add usage of documentation. I can put in all your requirement documents, related documents, and the emails which are supporting to it. I can put it in the document and I can upload it here so that I can have a quick look. Okay. One more thing is in module 3 you will come to know I can generate a documentation for this job. Okay, that is also one of the major feature in Talend. If I tell generate document for this, generate doc as HTML is the option. Okay, so what it will do, it will give me an overview of this job, how the job is designed, what are the settings it has been used in each component. Every detail will be given in a HTML format, a web-based format. Okay, you see it in the module 3. So that is also related to your documentation thing. And whatever you delete, it will come to your recycle bin. And one point as a developer, you have to keep it in mind. Suppose I delete hello world program here, it will come to recycle bin. Okay, thinking that I have deleted this, I will now import a new job called hello world. Okay, same job. I have deleted it, but I'm importing the same job from a different source. Then it will tell the job is already available in the recycle bin. So if you want to have the same job again in your job section, you'll have to completely delete it from the recycle bin. Okay, even that I'll be demonstrating in the modules. Okay, so all these options put together is my repository. For all these options, repository is the place you will have to come. Okay, so where you will create the job, under repository. Where can I create metadata? Under metadata section, which comes under repository. So these are the things which you will have to know about repository. Okay, so now let's go back to my created job and let me activate all of the windows. Okay, and now this area which you are seeing here, it is called as your design area. That is why your designer is highlighted over here. Let me highlight it. So if you can see here, designer is highlighted. Okay, and what is this code? So I said you, whenever we drag and drop a component, it will give you a code of that component which will be generated in the backend. Okay, so this job window has two tabs. One is designer where we'll drag and drop. One more is code. I'll click on this code and it will show me the code for this job which we are trying to do, which is hello world. Initially, this code will have a basic thing, just like how we had basic settings for project. A basic setting for the job will be available in the Java code. Okay, which allows something to come inside and sit. The template will be available. Okay, without even doing anything. We have around how many lines? 500 lines of code without doing anything, but it is an optimized code. Okay, so if you're not getting line numbers here, whenever you install it, you can right click over here and you can tell show line numbers. Okay, line numbers are important to get to know the errors. Okay, usually it will not be visible, so when you install, right click in this gap and then tell show line numbers. Okay, so now what I'll do, if I'll also search something called as team message. Okay, right now I don't have anything in this code. I'll come back and I'll tell you why I searched this. Okay, now I'll come back to my designer area. This is where I'll have to drag and drop the components and I'll have to do my design. Okay, so this is where I do that work. This is about this window. And what is this outline window? What is this job window? Okay, job window is all about my job properties. What is the name of the job, who is the author, whatever we gave in the properties, right? So now see, I told you we have to close it before changing, right? So if I tell edit properties, it will be showing like this. It is open and it is locked by the editor. Okay, so you can see the locker. I am the one who is opening that guy. right? So these information, whatever I gave here, it will be available here. Purpose, status, description, everything is available in your job window. Okay, and if you are defining any context for this, context means variable, if you are creating anything for this job, you're going to create it over here. Okay, I have options to create, delete, and do whatever I want, which you'll be learning later. So whatever I do with context, it is in context window. And what is this component window? Now let me take a component. Okay, there are two ways of getting component from palette. Okay, so palette is the place where I find all my components. Okay, it will be very beautifully organized in this way. Okay, all the sections. So recently used big data. If I go to big data, I'll get all the big data thing, right? HDFS, then I get all the HDFS thing. So going back, if I want to go for file and then input file, I have all these options. So it is very beautifully organized. Okay, and then if you want to know about that, if you want to, now I need to just pop up a message, right? So I'll tell message, usually how we type in whenever we are doing SMS, right? So just like that, I have searched, I want to print a message, I have got all these. That is where I told you it will be psychologically designed. Suppose I tell message, even then I'll have all related thing mentioned. Okay, I have everything, and I have a T message box which I was looking for as well. So if you see the tooltip displays a message box. Okay, so palette is the place where all the components are available. So if I want to get a component, then I'll have to come to palette. This whole section is called palette. Okay, and then in palette I'll search whatever I require. And how do I get from palette to designer area? It is drag and drop. Okay, first method, drag drop. I got the component over here. Okay, this is one method. Second method is, you know the name of the component, or just like search only, click just a click in the designer area, one click, and then type the component name. So you'll get all the related thing. Okay, now I need message box. I'll double click on it, it will come. Okay, first method, drag and drop. Second method, type inside the designer. Click and type inside the designer. Okay, this is how you get a component inside your designer area. Okay, let's stop it there. Once I have got the component, then I will show you what is component window. So this component window is a dynamic window. That means I have another component, say for example TDI, I take it here. Don't worry about this. If I click on this, that component settings will be visible. Okay, and if I click on this, that component setting will be visible, right? So now nothing is visible because I have not checked on any of the component. Now I go and click on T message box. All the options of about message box will be appearing over here. Okay, so what does the component window do? It shows me all the properties of the component. It enables me to configure it by the user. That is where the major window is, my component window. Okay, next window is run window. If I want to run this job with some specific thing, now let me change all of this. The title of the pop-up, okay, I'll make it as title of pop-up. Okay, and I need some buttons over there, and based on this button no decision can be taken. This component only displays a message, that's all. Okay, so I'll tell okay or cancel, and then what is the icon information or question mark, what is the image you want on that this one, so I'll give it as exclamation mark, and then I'll tell hello world. Hello world. So that's all. Okay, and now what happened in background? Previously I went to code and I searched T message, right? You remember, so it was not there, and now I go and search T message. I'll show you what changes has been made to that code. And if you can see here, I have the current component T message box. Okay, so now I'll go back to the beginning of the thing, and I'll tell T message which was already there, and if I tell find now, it is available. And now what do you understand? When I dragged and dropped the T message thing, related code for T message has been come and it has been fitted inside my template. Okay, and now the enthusiastic Java guys will ask, can I edit this code? No, you cannot. Whatever I do, I cannot edit my source code. Okay, it should be corrected in the designer only if there is any problem. Okay, you cannot edit the code which is generated. Right, now configured it, and now what is my next step? Yeah, before that, so code, this code window in the designer had full code of whole job. Okay, and now there is a problem in this component. Imagine I just want to see the code of this component. So there should be an option for that. It is very useful, right? That option is code viewer. Okay, in this section we have outline and code viewer. If you go to code viewer, we will be seeing only the code which is related to this one. So if you see here, title, message box, hello world, all this stuff were previously there. Okay, now let me save this. So there is a pop-up, hello world, job done for December 16. So this is how your first job, and it is not disconnected. So whenever your job is done, it was compiling the code and it connected with the socket for the Java, and the output was displayed for you, and it is waiting for your response to disconnect. Okay, we don't have disconnect till, because it is a pop-up and it is waiting. If I click on OK now, it will be disconnected. So now it is disconnected. So the purpose of my job is done. Okay, and the code viewer refers to only this code. What does it do? Okay, and it is a standard code. Whatever I am doing, it will not be displayed over here. Whenever you dragged and dropped, what is the standard code for it will be visible over here. Okay, that we can surely change it from my component window. Okay, and there is one more section called outline. So what is this outline? Okay, outline is a place where there will be a standard variables, okay, which are globally available for this component. Suppose this components will throw out a message, or it will give me some input like how many lines processed if it was a file component. Okay, so those things will be available here. This component can give an error message, or it can give a result, whether it is success or failure. Okay, 1 or 0, something like that. Okay, these are the standard variables for this component. If I add any other component, say for example, if I'm taking file component, even that component will come in here, and that also has number of lines as a different. Here we don't have number of lines, here we have number of lines. So if I take this global variable of this or standard variable, okay, both are same. So if I take that, I'll get the number of lines of the file processed. So all this, how will I get to know which all component will give which global variables? For example, if I take T Oracle output component, I have lot of global variables, number of lines updated, inserted, deleted, rejected, error message, everything. Okay. To get to know what all the global variables available for the component, where I'll come to outline section, and I will use this drop down to get to know what are the standard variables available for that particular component. Okay, so this is what is a usage of outline. So we are done with the GUI. So where do I get my components from? Which is the window where I can search the components? So it is in palette. So you see here, this window name is palette. This is the place where you get component. Where do I find the complete code of the job? Its outline. Context is for variables which we create. Context is user created. Standard variables are found out here. So there is a difference of understanding. These are standard variables which are available for us already. Context are the variables which we create. Okay, so it is in outline. Where will be my project folder created? So we'll have all the related folders, everything related to that in that folder. When I create a job, what are the standards for giving the job name? Can it start with a number? And what is the best way to do it? Start with character and also give a sequence so that your jobs are in order, and then give the purpose properly. Okay. So now how do I get component inside the designer? What are the two ways? Drag and drop or click on the designer window. And now I'll tell you one catch in the component window. Okay. Now if you see the component window, it is showing me something else. If I click on message box, it is showing me the configurations. Okay. Closely observe. Now I'll click on this gray area. Okay. Then it will show a subjob. What is this subjob? You'll get to know in the module 2. Okay. But this gray area, okay, is called a subjob. Now this subjob is having only one component. That is why this subjob is having only this much area. If I connect with some other component, then it will expand. Okay. Say for example, if I have a T log row, another component, I'll tell you about it. Triggers and runs, everything I'll tell you about it. Okay. If I connect one component to another component, so then this subjob area expanded. You're observing it. If I remove it, this gray areas are two squares now. But if I connect them, it will be a single. Okay, so the connected components, this area is called a subjob. Okay, these two now called a subjob, right? So that's what, just for your understanding. Okay, nothing else, I'll tell you about it more. Okay, but this subjob I can name it. Okay, so if I just click on this subjob, then in component window I'll get the subjob settings. If I click exactly on the component in the component window, I'll get the component related settings. Okay, now let me do some designing for this subjob. I'll click on show subjob title. Okay, these options are very, should be observed very carefully. Okay, so please have attention. Then I'll write why I'm using this option is, if somebody sees your job, it should be very readable. Okay, this step will pop up a message, that's all. Okay, so I can change the color, something like this I can do. Okay, so now if I expand it, quite difficult, once again. Actually I can expand this, sometimes it happens, give me a minute. Yeah, I have to click on the component. So if I expand this, even the subjob expands. So this is something like this, and even this name we can change it. But since until you people are okay with the component name, comfortable with the component name, till then I'll keep it with the exact name only. Okay, but it is possible to change. I can just say it's a message box. This can be also done. Okay, so whenever somebody sees this job, okay, they'll understand, okay, this part of the job is doing something, and again the second sub job is doing something. So it is very good practice to maintain this. Okay, so the project repository will list all the project items such as jobs, services, code, metadata, and project documentation, which we have covered. Okay, and this section, the job designer, is the main view of the studio in which components are used to create ETL jobs, right? So this section, palette lists all the available components organized in folders. A component is pre-configured connector used to perform a specific data integration operation, which minimizes the amount of hard coding required to work on data for multiple heterogeneous sources. Okay, so in palette we get all the details. So if component area displays all parameters to configure a component, and also the subjob also. This area also, if you click, it will give you subjob details. This area depends on what is selected in the job designer. Okay, very keen point. Whichever you select a component, that component. You select a subjob, that component subjob will come here, right? So that is your component area. So run view, we have already seen. So we have triggers of executions, talent job, and displays the results in the console window. If you are printing something, it will come in console window. We'll also do printing as well. Okay, so this outline view, the outline tab lists the components that have been added to the design workspaces and gives you quick access to the standard variables for each component. The code panel displays the code associated with each component. So this code here which we saw. Okay, and the context, this tab is used to create set context variables, and different context can be used whichever they will be used. Different context, okay, there's some typo I believe, they will be used. Okay, there's a new content, still it has to evolve. So job, we also seen this. So it provides the information about the current job in the designer window, including name, version, creation data, time, etc. Okay, which we saw, showed you the date also, right? So modification date, okay, creation date, all these things are available here. So my first Talend job, yeah. So creating a first job, we all have done this. When starting for the first time, see, they are not mentioning about connections because it is open source. Okay, so we had given the name, we had written the purpose, we had given the version, we have given the status, we did this. And then we're using palette, search the library, locate the component, drag and drop into window. So T message box comes under miscellaneous section. And then adding component 2, clicking on this and typing. Okay. So what we did is all having screenshot level thing. Okay. So click on the component message. In the component window, we did all this, and then we had run this job. Select the run, click run, and this is how our output was. Thank you all. Bye.